All right, guys. I'm pretty excited about this one. I say that every time.
Me too. This is a special car, Dave.
Laguna Blue.
Laguna Blue.
So, and what is it? 1 year only.
1 year only color.
1 year only color. I think that's pretty cool. So, I didn't realize this. So, Corvette, they always have like black, white, red. They have silver, but then they had these special colors.
Right.
I love this color.
Yeah.
So this is a frame-off restoration.
Frame-off restored. Bolt.
Everything. We're talking about they take the body of this car and set it over here. The frame's over here. You have a frame-off car in here that's been done, and you have just the frame, and we're going to do a video on that.
The chassis.
The chassis.
Yeah.
I say it wrong. The chassis is off. We're going to talk about the frame. So they take this car all the way down.
Right.
And they take the nuts and the bolts off of it. They clean it up. If there's rust, they fix it, weld up the places, get it slick, and then they repaint the frame with corrosion resistive modern finishes.
Modern finish that looks
like the
original finishes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they play correct.
For judging purposes, it needs to look like it looked.
They pay correct homage to what we've got going on.
Exactly.
When you're restoring a car, you want it to be correct.
Exactly.
You want it to look the way it was, but we now have modern finishes. We now have modern things that are better, because this paint was originally a two-part epoxy, right?
No, originally a lacquer.
A lacquer
job.
Lacquer, right.
Yeah.
Now,
this particular car here is base coat, clear coat. It
It
is, but done in such a way for judging.
To look right.
Yeah, to look correct.
So what he just said, so they put the base color on, they spray that on there, they block and sand it, they get that right. Then they clear it 5, 6, 8, 10 times, whatever, and then they water sand that to get that ultimate finish, to get the luster, and then it looks like it's 1,000,000 miles deep.
Exactly.
And that's what we have in this car.
Sure.
Now, let's talk about this car, because it's pretty special. They started with a pretty good car with low miles, 45,000 miles.
44,000 mile car to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was already a special car.
Right.
Then they take the frame bolt, they do it, and they've repainted it, put the leather back, put the seats back, put the teak steering wheel. This car has all the options.
It does. It does.
And I said this in one of the other videos, knock off wheels. Knock off wheels don't mean that they're like a reproduction. Knock off means that you take a lead mallet and you remove the center spinner.
Right.
And it's like the new NASCARs are or the Indy car.
Sure.
There's one bolt fastened in the car. So the lineage of these cars is race cars. 427, this is the big motor for this year.
425 horse.
425 horse, 427 cubic inch motor.
Right.
And I was talking to Greg, 66 model, your sedans and your street cars would have been in the 200 to 300 horsepower range.
Right.
This car is at 425.
Exactly.
So the sports car, this Corvette legacy, the lineage, this high performance.
Sure.
I mean, this car's beating everybody.
Right. In its day, absolutely.
In its day, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this car's like 57 years old. I know that because it was born a year before I was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Laguna Blue, another special color.
1 year only color.
1 year only color.
Yeah.
Teak steering wheel.
Yep.
It's got the top flight judging.
Tele column.
Telescopic.
Power windows.
Power windows.
Headrest seats. Tinted glass.
Tinted glass.
Knockoff wheels.
Knockoff wheels. And Greg told me the 427, the big motor, 425 horsepower, could not get air conditioning.
Right.
You could get air conditioning on the smaller car.
The 390 horse 427, you could get air with that. Yeah.
But on this high performance, they said, hey,
no air.
You're buying a sports car. We don't need an air conditioner where we're going.
Right.
Exactly. It's exactly right.
Right.
It has the judging. So you can buy this car like we've talked about. What a great investment for a car.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about losing your money. You don't have to worry about if this motor's right. And that's another thing I didn't realize. When they took the frame off and the motor only had 45,000 miles on it, they did the motor.
They rebuilt the engine as well. The whole drivetrain, tranny, rear brakes,
everything.
Complete drivetrain.
So Greg often says it's better than new. So we've got clear and base coat. I mean, you wouldn't have had that with the original car.
No, it'd have been a lacquer.
Been a lacquer finish, and then they had the polishing. You can't do it. So you got a high performance paint job that's beautiful, by the way, the correct color for this car.
Right.
And then you've got the big motor. You've got all the options.
Sure. On my site, I've got detailed pictures of the restoration, date codes.
They took pictures before, after, during.
Yeah, and
you
during.
put those posters. You put those.
Those are on the site.
So that's another thing, guys. If you're the first time to one of these videos, go to Greg's website, and it will give you usually on a car like this, 100 pictures. But if he has all these restoration pictures, or maybe even more pictures, he brings this car into a showroom. He has an intake area in the back that's mocked up like a Texaco station. You should go look at it. That's a great video. But he will put this car on a lift, and he will take it over and take pictures all over it, and will utilize the scrutiny that you have of 50 years of experience in this industry, looking at these cars, knowing about them, knowing if they're correct, and he'll take every angle. He's taking an angle you don't even know you need, probably.
Probably so.
But there are a few of you aficionados that have bought cars from other people and you got burned on this or that. Call Greg, his cell phone's at the bottom. Tell him the picture you want, and I bet you'll take the picture.
I'll send it right away. Absolutely, no problem.
Right. Yeah. So wow, and you know, in some of our other videos, I keep harping on this, but you get a car that's judged. This has a top flight judging. So in the NCRS world, that's as good as you can do.
About as good.
You know, you get a couple of top flights, you can get some PVs. We know you can go for the Duntop.
Right.
And you know, this would be a great car if somebody wanted to get into that world.
Right.
You could take this car and you could go get another top flight in your name.
Go further, yeah.
You could get your Duntop, you get your PV, your performance verification, then you could go get your Duntop.
Sure.
And you could add value to your investment.
Exactly.
You know, now you're going to spend some money doing it, but I mean, it would be a fun thing to do. And again, and we've talked about this in the past, Greg has traded over 1,000 Corvettes in his career, never lost money on one. And this is kind of a new thing we've been talking about today. Sure. You buy a car from Greg, he will trade this car in the future with you on any other car you have on your side.
Exactly. Take it back.
Take it back
on trade.
Take
Absolutely.
it back. And listen, he probably wouldn't say this about every car. He would pay you money back for this car because he loves this car. And I do too. I mean, look at that color.
Special car.
What is it's so special.
Very special car.
It is so special.
Yep.
So we're gonna get up and do a little walk around on it. But before we do that, we kind of like to do this. 30 seconds. Why do I want this car?
66 Laguna Blue, 427, 425 horse, teak wheel, tele column, headrest, knockoff wheels, Kesley Hayes knockoffs, power windows, and restored.
Both tops?
Both tops, absolutely, both tops, and restored to the max.
To the
Unbelievable.
max. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Overdone.
Overdone. Yes.
Overdone. That's another one of his things.
Absolutely.
425 horsepower turbojet 427. That's pretty neat. And they only made, what'd you say, 11,000?
Oh, 11, 12,000 cars in 66, I believe. Yeah, right around there.
So don't hold us exactly to the number, but somewhere in there. With this big motor, how many? Not many.
No, maybe, I don't know, 600, 800.
Oh, so less than 1,000
like
for sure.
I'd have to look in the book to be exact.
But you know, but somewhere around 1,000 or less.
Yes, give or take.
Wow. So it's pretty special.
Right. Right.
I mean, they made 11, 12,
Yeah.
10, say maybe they 10,000 and they had 500 that had the big motor.
Right.
I mean, you're 5%.
Right. The 425 horse, they made a 390 horse.
Okay.
You know, 427, 390 as well.
And that was the base motor for the car?
That was the base big block.
Okay.
Basically.
Oh, so they had three motor options.
This car could have come with a small block, 327.
Okay. 327.
Yeah, 300 horse, 350 horse as well.
Okay.
So
you could have had two versions. You kind of have a high output 327 or a standard.
Yeah, and a fuelie.
And a fuelie.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's really 5 motor options.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So this is the big boy, though.
This is the high horse for this year.
Yeah. And the reason they didn't do the air is they didn't have room for it?
They just didn't offer it with this engine.
Because air wasn't such a big deal then, and the performance was more important than robbing the horsepower from the motor.
Right. And,
4-speed?
4-speed, positive rear.
Oh.
Yeah, positive rear.
When did they start doing that?
That come along in the early cars even.
Oh, even,
57
okay.
Up, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Positive
okay.
rear. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was more of a more modern innovation, but it was even back here.
Even the early car with the high horse engine, most of those had the positive rear end.
Okay. Yeah, because the light such as just spin one tire away.
And
yeah.
The low horse, even the early car, was a single traction. Very few, but they did offer that.
Yeah. That is awesome. And we were talking about it as he popped the hood, and we look under here. The motor probably wouldn't have looked this good from the factory because they just didn't care.
Probably not.
You know, it's just polished out, everything clean. The motor's been gone through, new rings, pistons. Exactly. I mean, all that stuff polished, all that junk just fixed. So the car probably has less than 1,000 miles on the rebuild.
Probably so, yeah.
And the base car only had like 45,000 miles, 44,000
40,
miles.
but before restoration.
Before restoration.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it was a really rare car, big block,
Yeah,
big motor in the big block, 4-speed. I mean, all the options.
a lot of options, yeah.
Yeah.
Headrest seats.
Peak, tele,
Yeah.
telescoping,
Column.
4-speed. Yeah, beautiful car.
Yeah,
Beautiful example.
And 1 year only color.
1 year only. Yeah, one and both tops.
Yeah,
Soft top, hard top comes with
Exactly.
the car.
exactly.
Knockoff wheels, which is very desirable.
Right. Real Kesley Hayes wheels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kesley Hayes, that's the brand.
Right,
That's
yeah.
how they know it.
Yeah, that's the company that made the wheels for General
And it
Motors.
comes with the hammer. You get the hammer with the car.
It's in with a jack.
Yeah,
Sure is.
yeah, that's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Again, anything else that you want to add? Because I mean, to me, if you're looking for a car, and you know, a lot of Corvette guys and a lot of people selling these cars, they don't want to talk about money. You know, you're in the business of selling it. So probably 150,000 buys this
It's
car.
in the 145 range.
145.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah, yeah.
$145,000. Me and Greg have talked about this many times. Bank failures, investment. You know, these cars don't go backwards. He's had 1,000 cars. He's done this for 40 years, doing about 50 cars a year. That's about 2,000 cars over time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In my career, I started in 81.
Right.
I've never seen a high quality Corvette like this
Especially judged.
go backwards in
Not
price.
any car go backward in
Never.
price.
No,
Yeah.
in my whole career.
So I mean, you know, you used to could say that about real estate. 2008 showed us that's not the case.
Right.
So, you know, you buy this car, you're not going backwards. Another thing that we've talked about in some of the videos is you buy this car from Greg and you decide you want to upgrade into a $300,000 car, you want to upgrade into a more rare car.
Sure.
He will take this car back on trade.
On trade. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And like we talked about earlier in the video, he loves this car. He'll just buy this car back.
That's pretty special.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Dave.
So look, go to the website. Greg's cell phone number, his cell phone is there. We've interrupted a couple of videos because you guys are calling asking about these cars. He'd love to sell you this car. He really wouldn't love to sell you this one because I know he likes this one, but he will sell this car to you. So come check it out.
Neat car. Neat car.